Hi everyone, back again, and this is Molly. She decided that she wanted to come sit on my lap. Anyway, this is a follow-up video to my last video about Trump and Hillary, when I was talking about all that. And I got some really good questions from some of the people, put some comments, and I picked out 4 of the comments because they were really good questions, and I decided to respond with a video because they're not short answers, and I thought it's a good idea to do another follow-up. So basically I'll just start going through the questions and try and answer them as best I can. Now, first of all, just before I get into that, last time I was talking about the protesting and all that's going on, and I mean, it's still going on to a certain degree. I've even had people on Facebook, basically now calling me a racist because I was supporting Trump. As I said earlier, I'm not really supporting Trump as such, but I was saying he's our best bet. And, regardless of what you're going to see in the media, Trump is not a racist. He's not a misogynist. He's not a homophobe, right? There's tons of evidence to support that. So I'm not going to even bother getting into it. But if you want to believe that, then that's your choice, okay? But honestly, if you do your homework, do some research, you'll realise that that's not the case. So that aside, what I did realise is that the amount of anguish that these people are going through, and it's genuine for the most part, it's really, I had the realisation that it's a demonstration of mass mind control. I would assume that most of these people got all their information about the elections, about Trump, about Hillary, from CNN in particular, which is very pro-Hillary. That's basically Hillary's news network. Washington Post, New York Times, all them. They're all, were part of the system trying to get Hillary elected. So they set out on a programming job, to program people, literally, and it's a form of mass mind control. And I think that's why we're seeing this mass outpouring of emotion, because suddenly the programming has been broken mid way through, and just like a computer, when it gets two conflicting questions, it just goes to a blue screen, it crashes, it doesn't know what to do. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing now. So it's a really good example of mass mind control in action, okay, in action. So for those of you that doubt that mind control is not a real thing, I would suggest you have a look at that. I've actually written a lot about that subject in my next book, which I haven't finished yet. But anyway, that aside, let's get to these questions. Now, the first one, I've just printed them out here. Right, the first one is from Magic Princess 9000. I imagine it's a she. She says, there is so much protest going on right now. California wants to secede. I live in this state, and there's so much hostile energy right now, and it is affecting me. Sorry, something just crawling on my neck. I'm out in my backyard at the moment. Little bugs flying around everywhere. It's coming into summer. Okay, good question. Now, I've heard a lot about this. California wants to secede. It's all bluff. It's nonsense, right? Again, if you do your research, California is the state in the United States that has the most debt. It's the most collapsing. It's in the worst state of all the states of America, particularly their crippling debt. So if they were to secede, I would imagine that within 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, the whole thing would collapse, they'd go bankrupt, and people would be pouring back over the border into the United States by their millions out of California into the rest of the United States. And people say, oh, but that's where Hollywood is. That's where, Los Angeles is. You have to understand, California is a big state, and Hollywood's one little bubble. It's one little bubble that exists in the whole of California, right? Where a few rich, spoilt people live, basically, who all live in their own little world. They've got no idea what's going on. And, all these celebrities that were saying, if Trump wins, I'm going to go to the moon or Jupiter, like Cher says, I'm going to go to Jupiter. And now they're all backpedaling, saying, oh, no, 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 it was just a joke, it was just a joke. Yeah, you're right. It was all big talk when they thought that Hillary was going to get in. And, you know, while all these people, these celebrities are telling you to go and protest, they're not going to protest. They're not going to leave their $1 million mansions that are guarded by armed guards and dogs. You know, these people are a joke. Don't listen to them, please, because they're hypocrites. Anyway, so California, will it secede? No, no chance. Okay, it's just all talk, just like Cher when she said she's going to Jupiter. The people that want to secede, it's all talk, it's all bluff. If they secede, good luck to them. Okay, good luck to them, because it will collapse. So that's that one. Next question is from All Is an Illusion 1. Does anyone see that perhaps Trump was put in place by the very people with all the agendas you speak of, simply to instigate riots and unrest? What better way to divide and distract? That is a fantastic question, and absolutely one that I've actually thought of myself. But, you know, analysing the situation, getting into the background of it, no, I don't think it's the case. Mainly because we now know that George Soros, who I've spoken about, I've made videos about him. Okay, this was George Soros' election. That's who it really was. Hillary's just a sock puppet. She's just a front person for George Soros. It was George Soros that wanted to be president of the United States. But because he's not born in the United States, he's not qualified, like Obama. You know, Obama got in, but whatever. So this was really George Soros's election, and he lost. So now we know he's paying protesters $35 an hour. They're bussing them in, you know, into different areas, like these renter crowds, right? They're getting smaller and smaller. I know that the riots are still going on, but they are getting smaller and smaller because they're just ineffective. No one's really giving them that much attention anymore. Even the media's turning off a bit. And of course, sorry, this is my neighbours doing something. You know, because it's not real, because they're renter crowds, they'll lose interest really quickly. So I think that that's all going to fade away, except Inauguration Day. I've seen advertisements myself where they're trying to organise mass protests on Inauguration Day. That we could see a false flag on that day. I don't doubt that at all. Could be something really bad. I hope not. You know, I'm hoping that everything will be peaceful. But I know Soros is hurt, he's wounded, and he wants payback. So don't be surprised if on Inauguration Day we see some sort of a mass shooting, a bomb go off or something. They'll try and blame it on the right, you know, Trump protesters, and then it's, oh look, God knows what will happen after that. Anyway, that's a really good question, but no, I don't think it's Trump. I don't think Trump is a stooge, you know. I don't think he's in there to disrupt and divide and conquer. I'll get to that later to finish that off. So the next one's from Dead Ugly One. Now, I don't know if that's just a joke name or you really believe that, but I'm going to make a follow-up video to this one, just basing on Dead Ugly. Not good, but anyway, it might just be a joke. They say, can you please break down the soul ages of the people involved for and against the Trump event? It may help explain the situation once we can understand who we are dealing with. Cheers. That is a fantastic idea. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, I'm just going to rattle them off, but at the end of all this, I'm going to go onto the computer and show you the soul ages profiling chart that I created and show you how I come to these outcomes. I mean, I don't need the chart, I can do it intuitively, but by looking at them as well. But I'll show you how I use the chart, and you can do it yourself if you want to get the chart. So first of all, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a young soul level 7, and this is his 5th attempt at young soul 7th level. So, you know, as I've explained in other videos, that you don't just do one soul age and then you just move to the next one. It doesn't happen like that, right? It takes you several lives. Anyone in a soul age level 6 on any soul age is the most difficult of all, and that can take hundreds of lives. In fact, the mature soul age 6 is the most difficult, and that can take up to 100 to 200 lives. Other ones are much easier. Anyway, so Trump is a 7th level young soul. As I said, this is his 5th attempt. The first 2 lives that he had, I now know, were, authoritarian Illuminati type, secret squirrel stuff behind the scenes, up to no good, born to money, blah, blah, blah. And he had 2 of those lives, and of course failed them because he didn't find the balance or the lessons that was required. So then he came back 2 more times trying to address that, trying to correct it. And what he did in those lives was the exact opposite. He just became ambivalent. Yes, he was still born to money. He was still rich and powerful, but he just ate, drank and be merry, basically. He didn't do anything to contribute anything to society or to correct the balance. So this time he's come here specifically to try and correct his failings in the past at this level. So that is really key to what's going on at the moment, because as we'll see, we'll go through some of his cabinet postings as well. At the moment, a lot of the people, even on the right, are now saying, why is he appointing that person? Why is he appointing this person? They're, part of the establishment. They're neocons. They're this and that. Oh, I'll get to that. Okay. But anyway, Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is in her first attempt at young soul level 5. So she's a 5th level young soul. And I would actually say that she is a textbook version of it. Really is. She is absolutely 100% doing what a 5th level young soul does. That's what they do. Okay, if you want to know what a young soul 5th level is, Hillary Clinton. That's it. Easy, that one. Now, I just want to get into a few of the others, because the person we should all be looking at is this Stephen Bannon. Stephen Bannon is basically Trump, his main strategist. And the left are demonizing him, saying he's a white supremacist, he's a Nazi, he's a this, he's a that, he's a Jew hater. Well, that's nonsense, right? It's absolutely nonsense. It's propaganda, it's lies, it's typical of the left trying to demonize. And like I said in my last video, everything Trump does, they're going to absolutely hammer him on. They're not going to agree to anything. They're going to crucify him, and that's what they're doing with all his appointments. Stephen Bannon is actually a mature soul level 2. That's what he is. And he's a pretty good example of a level 2 mature soul. And speaking of level 2 mature souls, the other one that's in the Trump camp but hasn't been appointed anything is Kellyanne Conway. And she was Trump's media spokesperson. She's still doing that job as far as I know. She also is a mature soul level 2. But getting back to Bannon, as I said, Trump is a young soul 7. Bannon is a mature 2. So Bannon will have more influence on Trump than any other person in his administration. Trump will be able to boss around other people, but he won't boss Bannon around. He will respect Bannon and look up to him, in fact. And I honestly believe that Bannon is a good man with good intentions. And as much as the media want to demonize him, you just have to put your faith that he's a mature soul. It's not usual for a mature soul to do anything really nasty, bad, whatever, but he's still got ego there, so anything can happen when fear buttons are pushed. But look, at the end of the day, I actually have got a good feeling about Bannon. And Kellyanne Conway, I really wish Trump could find some position, senior position for her in his administration, because again, just having another mature soul there, it brings balance, it brings some logic into it, some calmness, some, a little bit more gentle sort of decision making. So then moving on to the next group, we've got Rudy Giuliani. I've got massive reservations about Giuliani, mainly because he was absolutely instrumental in the cover-up of 9/11, right? He has got blood all over his hands. He has been involved in lots of dirty deals, but that said, he is a young soul level 4. And I know this is going to sound contradictory after what I just said, but for a young soul level 4, he isn't actually evil. George Soros is evil, right? Hillary Clinton is evil. Rudy Giuliani is a useful idiot. That's what he is, a useful idiot. He will go along with whatever the bosses are telling him to do, and he'll do it 100%. He'll support it. He'll, be the biggest sycophant going, and he'll do whatever he's told to do without question. And he always wants to be with the winners. That's why he wants to align himself with the winners. So in the past, when it was the Bushes, they were the winners. So he covered up 9/11. Now it's Trump. Trump wants to do other stuff. He'll support Trump. So he's not inherently evil, and he's also not good. He's just a suckhole. He's a bum licker, as we say in Australia, a sycophant, okay? And he'll just do whatever he's told. So if Giuliani gets in, I don't think we need to worry about him doing any nefarious things. He'll do whatever he's told, and that's about it. The other one is that Reince Priebus, who's now the Chief of Staff. He is a young soul level 5, like Hillary Clinton. I think he's had a few more. This is about his third life as a young soul level 5. So he's got a little bit more experience than Hillary, but he's still bad news. Bad news, right? The guy, you couldn't trust him as far as you could throw him. And, people are saying, why is Trump surrounding himself with these people? Well, okay, the first thing is, look up my video on PSYOPs. Technically, it's a PSYOP. Trump is PSYOPing the opposition, right? The Illuminati, the New World Order. By putting these people in with him, surrounding him, you've heard the old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies even closer. That's what it is. These people, especially that Reince Priebus, he could absolutely hurt Trump big time. I mean, big time, like from behind the scenes. If he felt he was on the outside and slighted, he would absolutely tear into Trump, leak false information, basically try and destroy him and bring him down. So I can understand why Trump has brought him into the inner circle, because he can control him from there. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that was Stephen Bannon's idea, because he's a smart guy as well. So the thing with Priebus, yes, he's a nasty little bit of work, but I think Trump is going to keep him on a very short leash. And like Giuliani, he wants to be on the winning team. He will happily go along with whatever he's told, right? So I don't think he's going to be in a position of decision making. He's more going to be in a position of following orders and carrying them out. And if he doesn't do it, Trump will sack him. Okay, now these last three, Jeff Sessions, he's been appointed the Attorney General. Michael Flynn, the National Security Advisor, he's ex-General Michael Flynn. And Mike Pompeo, who's now been appointed CIA Director. All three of these guys are child souls level 4. Okay? Now, before you think, child souls, they're perfect. They're perfect for the job. Okay? Child souls, particularly at level 4, it's all about law and order, discipline, law and order, straight shooters. They commit to society. They want to help society. They want to do stuff, right? You couldn't ask for better people in those positions of Attorney General, National Security Advisor and CIA Director. They're pretty well incorruptible. I'm not saying they're perfect. I mean, all of them have probably got question marks in their background because they're child souls and they've got ego. All right, ego always messes things up, as I've said before. But look, for the most part, if I was going to say Trump, but maybe Bannon, I don't know, whatever. Trump decides he wants to go after Hillary, Jeff Sessions will go at her like a terrier, right? No question. If Trump decides he wants to crack down on illegal immigrants and Muslim extremists, Flynn will jump on that and crack down like a terrier. And then the same is for this Mike Pompeo, CIA Director. If Trump wants to clean that up, he will absolutely go to town and clean it up. These guys are all about law and order. That's what child level is about. Law, order, discipline. And they follow orders. They're not leaders, right? They follow orders, so they're really good. They're extremely loyal, child souls. If you want to get stuff done in your neighbourhood, in your city, child souls are the people to appoint to key positions because they'll get it done. And like I said, typically when they get over fourth, fifth, sixth level, they become corruptible. Okay, they're your boss hog types. But at fourth level, almost incorruptible, I would say, and extremely valuable, loyal people to have on your team. So just to summarise again, so Trump is a young 7, trying to get this one correct, and Hillary Clinton, young 5, typical young 5. It's just what she is. That's what she is, right? It's not a criticism. It's just who she is, right? Stephen Bannon is the man to watch. Kellyanne Conway should get as we say in Australia, a jersey. Get on the team. She should be on the team, right? She would be a good contributor. Giuliani and Priebus, they're squirmy little worms, but yeah, keep them on a tight leash, and they'll do the right thing by Trump. Okay, as long as he keeps paying them money and giving them glory, they're happy with that. And then Sessions, Flynn, and Pompey, whatever his name is. Again, they're going to be loyal, hard-working guys. Now, when I say they'll go after Hillary, this is what concerns me at the moment. Trump has already come out in 60 Minutes interview saying that, Hillary's a good people. Oh, good, she's going. Hillary's a good, the Clintons are good people, and they, he's more or less going to leave him alone now and everything. I'm thinking, hang on, that's a backflip, man. You don't want to be doing that. But again, I'm looking at the PSYOP angle. If you wanted to keep things smooth until inauguration, as in you didn't want to get whacked, right, assassinated, I'd probably say that too. I'd probably wait till I got inaugurated, got my team into place, set up my prosecutors, and then just quietly go about your business, sending out subpoenas. If you go in 60 Minutes, 2 months out from your inauguration, bragging that, I'm going to take Hillary out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, chances are you ain't going to make it to inauguration, okay? So all the people on the right that are criticising that's my explanation. And as I said, also him appointing these other people, they're younger souls than him, so he can control them. But ultimately, it's Bannon, that I think will be really running the show for Trump. Right, that's that. Now, the final question was from Shores of the East. I think this election was the pole shift they are talking about, perhaps. I hope so. Good day. Well, again, that's a fantastic question. And I was talking to people recently about this and didn't know if I wanted to get right into this sort of area, only because it's out there, it's fringe, it's real, but I don't know how much people can deal with it. So I'm just going to tell you what the situation is. And since the question was asked, I always say if people can formulate the question, they deserve a straight answer. They deserve the truth, right? I don't necessarily volunteer information, but I certainly, if someone asks me it, I'll tell them. So here it is. As we know, Nibiru is coming in, and earth changes are going on. And that's because the course that humanity took after 2012, it was believed that the only way to correct the situation was for a complete wipe the slate clean, start again. Now suddenly this whole Trump thing happened, and people started to wake up, people started to move in a more positive direction. And then, I'm not saying everything's on hold, it's not, it's still coming, but what they're sort of saying now is that if Trump stays true to his promises, that's the key. If he stays true to his promises, does everything he said he was going to do, and he doesn't have to do it in the first week, right? We've got a little bit of time. What Spirit hope to do is, will basically nudge Nibiru a little bit away. And you might think, how will they do that? It's a long story, but just remember, mind power or will is the most powerful thing in the universe. And to give you an idea, in 1972 there was a massive coronal mass ejection, that's a sun flare from the sun, that they knew was coming. It would have engulfed the Earth and burnt it up. They put a protective barrier around it. And David Suzuki predicted it was going to happen. He's the famous Canadian scientist, environmental scientist. And then on this day, suddenly it didn't happen, and everyone said, oh, he's a crackpot and all this. No, it did happen, but a protective barrier was put around the planet, okay? It's a similar principle to that. So what they can do is nudge Nibiru away. They can't stop it completely from coming, right? It's still going to come. There's still going to be Earth changes and things, but what they're trying to hope to avoid is the pole shift, where it flips the Earth, right, and then comes back again. We get this global tsunami situation. That's what they're trying to avoid. But it all comes down to Trump. As I said, Trump, 5th attempt at this level. If he can get this correct and he dies, his next life, he will be in the mature soul phase. He'll start mature soul level 1, okay? So it's a big jump for him. But because he's failed 4 times in the past, ego's involved, you know, he's got a lot of people around him fearful and things, you know, it's touch and go. It's as simple as that. I'm hoping with all my heart that he will succeed and he will do what he said he was going to do. I'm really hoping that's the reason why Bannon was put in. That's a little bit of, maybe you could call it manipulation from spirit, putting in an older, more experienced soul to help guide him, right? That's not uncommon in everyone's life, right? Especially when you have failed a life several times, you'll often surround yourself with older souls than you as friends, family, advisors, to try and help you through it, that particular life. So what Shores of the East was saying, he thinks this was the pole shift. No, not the pole shift, but certainly it's the rise in consciousness that we've been waiting for and looking for from all of humanity to avert the worst possible outcome. And as I said in the other video, and what I'm referring to now, is that what I'm calling now the Trump effect, where you're seeing in all these other countries now around the world, they're all following suit. They're all realizing, hang on, we don't have to put up with this establishment. We don't have to put up with this crap anymore. We can, change just like America did. So Trump is like the leading example to the world now. I mean, Brexit was the first, but now Trump, and now we're seeing in France, today actually, they were going through their Republican nomination for president, and that old Sarkozy, who's the most corrupt man you've ever seen, he got outed in the first round, and the guy that got in is very Trump-like. He's a nationalist. He's saying we got to end the immigration, we got to fix the economy, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. It sounds like he's taken a page out of Trump's playbook and just repeating it verbatim. And, well, whatever, good, I hope he follows through. But he looks like he's going to win the Republican nomination in France. So we're seeing this whole change of consciousness across the planet. And this is the thing, that's what it takes for us to avert the mass earth changes. Yeah, we're still going to see them, right? We're still going to see earthquakes and volcanoes. I mean, you've seen in the news, earthquakes are going off everywhere at the moment. We're still going to see that, but on a less level, and we're not going to see a pole shift. If Trump follows through, we won't see a pole shift, right? But if he does lie, if he does flip-flop back down, prepare for the pole shift, man, because that's what's going to happen, right? Because you've got to wipe the slate clean. This is humanity's last chance. It's as simple as that. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is go inside onto the computer, and I'll show you my chart that I created several years ago. And if you're interested, you can buy it for a few bucks, right? Download it, and it will help you understand what soul ages other people are, including yourself, right? And how to quickly use the chart to quickly assess. So you can apply it to anyone in the world, anyone. Okay? So I'll go and do that now. Back soon. And here we are back inside with the soul charts, soul ages chart that I created a few years back. And that's just the first title page. So let's just jump now to the first page. And this is the Soul Age comparison chart. So it basically helps if you do know a little bit about the different soul ages and what their motivations are. So just quickly, infant souls is all about survival. Child souls is all about discipline. Young souls is all about power. Mature souls is all about emotions. Old souls, it's all about detachment. Okay, that's the basics of it. So power, money, that's young souls. And Trump and Hillary, let's face it, they're both obsessed with power and money. So now it's just a matter of going through. We look at their skill sets. So young souls, not always the brightest, but try very hard. Can be quick learners, have trouble adapting to new environments, natural problem solvers, and when it gives them a benefit over someone or a situation, always look to leverage off someone else's hard work or higher intelligence. Very good with the gift of the gab, natural manipulators, can be con men, politicians. Money is very important because money equals power. Their framework, they're emotionally detached, they confused lust for love, greed focused, not interested with the problems in the world as such, willingness to cooperate with others only if there is an advantage, my way or the highway. They're small picture orientated, prone to aggrandizing, hubris, vain, materialistic, your typical yuffie, mafia type. Almost all of the New World Order are young souls. Aim, seeing what they can get out of any situation, seek personal power, fame, riches, ego rules, never accept responsibility for anything, a desire to be better than all their friends, family and work colleagues, will only join clubs or social networks if they think it will get them ahead. They want to be the best at everything they do, quantity over quality, productivity over human rights. Relationships. They feel more connected to objects than people. They see human relations as another competition. They see their partner as an object. They don't really have any concept of what love is or true love. That doesn't come to a mature soul. Fear keeps them in relationships. They're happy to isolate themselves, putting work career above all else. They're not very trusting. They invented the prenuptial agreement. They would sell their mothers if there was a buck in it, and so their family ties are not that strong. So they tolerate family only out of obligation for personal gain. Interests, they're very goal, career orientated with strong drive and commitment. They love to live the high life, splash money around, live beyond their means. Any competitive sport or activity, watching more than participating. Any chance to belittle someone else or get over someone else, they'll do it. Their values, appearance over substance, breaking the rules if there is an advantage, particularly monetarily, enjoying life's pleasures, including sex as a sport. Corruption is perfectly acceptable. After all, everyone does it, don't they? That's their attitude. And they see suicide as a honourable or easy way out. So that's basically the attributes of the young soul, and I think you could probably agree that both Trump and Hillary fit nicely into that. So let's go to the next page, and this is where we look at what level they are. So we know that they're a young soul, and here's the 7 levels. So we'll go through them and we'll just see. So young soul level 1 expresses anger a lot, cautious but can be domineering, attracted to gangs. Prisons are full of this level. Well, we see that in Hillary, but that's not who she is completely. So people always have past soul levels ingrained in them. So they always, at some point, will probably show those behaviours because they've already mastered them, but they can't do it the opposite way around. They can't show old soul behaviours because they haven't learnt them yet. Okay? So level 2, dogmatic, fearful, covers it with dogma, likes being in authority, whole life is a lie, likes to control others. Again, that's Hillary, but it's not who she completely is. Trump has outgrown these first two, if you're wondering why I didn't mention. That's because he doesn't really display them as much as Hillary does, but they're certainly there in his being. Level 3, they're quiet, often gets away from it all, hermit, not too much conscience, doesn't like people much, classic grumpy old man. So these are the people that, go and live in the hills in a little shed, and you turn up at their porch and they stick a shotgun in your face sort of thing. What are you doing here? That's level 3 young souls, which neither of them are like that anymore. So level 4, friendly, successful, your average yuppie, often authority, wealth and power, not good with relationships, can't commit, will cheat a lot. Wow, that's probably both of them. But the next one's a telling one for Hillary. Level 5, wealth and power through unusual means. Still outgoing, friendly, workaholic, partner still seen as an object or a prize, may experiment with the lower level occult. And as we've just seen in the WikiLeaks, Hillary's been tied up with this spirit cooking, this devil worship, Satan worship, whatever you want to call it. The reason why they do that is they'll do anything to get ahead, to get an advantage over their competitors. So, it's not really that they love the Lucifer or they love the devil. They do it because they think, this might get me ahead. That's why they get involved with all this. And then it becomes like a drug. They got to do it more and more and more to try and get a bigger outcome. So that's what that's all about. But that's Hillary. So level 5. And that's the tell there, is that occult stuff. But also, she is a workaholic in her early days, and also, but her partner seen as an object. She should have left Bill Clinton when he was, caught out with Monica Lewinsky, but she stayed by his side because it was a political advantage. That's the only reason why she stayed with him. They haven't slept in the same bed for years, okay, her and Bill. They hate each other, actually. Well, Bill doesn't hate her, but she hates Bill. Moving on, level 6 is busy karmic. They're competent. This gets them into extreme power, sees something lacking but can't identify it. They're very set in their ways. Many New Age movement come from here, right? A lot of your New Age gurus and people, high-profile people, I'm not going to name names, you can figure out who they are, but particularly in the New Age, okay, are in this young 6 and young 7s as well. And then finally, young 7 is absolute authorities, calm, born to money or gifted career, authoritative manner, looking at the mature soul phase, may play around with the esoteric, wants to do what's popular. And again, a lot of the New World Order people are in this. And I'm talking the high-ranking, not the idiots that you see on TV. I'm talking about the ones, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, Queen of England, those sort of behind-the-scenes people are in this level 7. But, that's where Trump is. So, look, that's basically it. It's pretty simple to figure out once you get your head around it. And as I said, look down in the description for a link where you can grab yourself a copy. Okay, thank you very much, and wait for the next update. See you later.